Hello and welcome to the knit.love podcast. Today is March 30th and this is episode number 6. My name is Stephanie and you can find me as knit.love Steph on Instagram, Ravelry, Twitter, and Tumblr. I think that's it for intros. This week I've got some new stuff for the shop. I have some finished projects. I've got some half-finished projects. So I got some hose. I've got some UFOs. And I have cool new things that I got in the mail. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your support and everything this past week. All your kind words and encouragement meant a lot to me. Getting some answers, so that's a good thing. But first, I'm going to talk about some spinning related stuff. For those of you who follow, I did a stash. See, I can't speak at all. I did a shop update. This past week and a half, I've done some dyeing. Dyed some fiber for the yarn for the shop. So I'm going to just show some of that off to you because I love it. I'm debating whether or not I just want to remove it from the shop and keep it. The colors don't really show well. It's 100% Cardell wool, and this color is my Mermaid's Tail colorway. I have tags, it's just not attached. It's got lots of, like, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's, everything's unraveling. Unraveling. See, like, this is like a bright fluorescent pink. It's not showing up very well on camera, but there's bright pink. There's some turquoisey purple. I mean, the tail really does the best from where I started to braid it. See, it looks royal blue, but it's not. There's lots of turquoise and purples in it. It's pretty amazing. That is that one. Throw it there for right now. This lovely gem is unicorn tail. The other one was mermaid hair, not mermaid tail. This is mermaid or unicorn tail. It's pretty much like, it's just like mermaid hair, but it's not as, doesn't have a lot of the turquoises and dark purples. This is more of the brighter version of it. I really wish those colors would show up better. See, like this is like a bright green, and it's got some of that bright pink. It's just not showing. It's not doing it justice. I had help from Vanessa of the Vintage Rose. She helped me name some of these colorways. My mother named this next one. Let me coil it up so that you can see. This is one of my favorites. This is called Emerald Isle. My mother wanted me to name it that one because she said it reminded her of Ireland. She'd been to Ireland and she said it reminded her of that. It's got it's basically just shades of green and brown. It looks very camouflage, which I guess it does look kind of camouflage. But it's just really bright shades of green and brown, and it's really pretty. And those 3 are for sale in my shop. So yeah, if you like those, go ahead and message me. This one is not for sale in my shop. My mom fell in love with these colors and said she wanted me to spin it into something for her, which I think I'm gonna do. I think it'd be nice It's now, because Vanessa had helped me name the other ones, I named this one after her. Because of the shades of color it is, you can't tell. At least you can't tell on my end. It is lots of pink, like a pale pink, lots of green and brown. Very Downton, very Downtonish. I'm calling it Vintage Rose because it does. It looks like a bouquet of pink roses, but you can't really tell. And excuse the hot mess. It's morning on Sunday and I'm recording a couple days late because I've had migraines the past 2.5 weeks and it started to ebb, so I just decided to record. But yeah, I'm gonna keep that and I'm gonna spin that for my mom, and I might actually start spinning that today. I'm gonna just take the other stuff off my bobbin because it's bugging the crap out of me. I have a couple of bobbins, so I might just set it aside in storage or something. But I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to, shaking everything, I'm deciding whether or not I want to make fingering or lace weight. If I do lace weight, I think I'm going to do single, just spin a single for lace weight. I might try to do a double, like so I can ply it. Because I think I might knit her a shawl with it. I'm not sure yet. Sorry about that. I had to adjust my chair. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. I'm not sure. Try to decide what to talk about first. I'm going to talk about my knitting finished objects. You guys remember seeing these socks? They now have heels. These are made from Lion Brand Sock Easy. Yes, Lion Brand Sock Easy. And the Rock Candy colorway. These were knit toe up on 9-inch circs with an afterthought heel, just like that. Now, there's been a lot of people on Instagram who ask about 9-inch circs. I love the 9-inch circs, especially if you're doing vanilla socks and if you're planning to do afterthought heel. What I do when I'm knitting with that, then because I use size 2 9-inch circ from Chaogu, what I do is I magic loop. You have to magic loop your toe or DPN, whatever. You can't do it on the 9-inch circ. I usually like to start toe up because I can get a stretchier cast off using the Jen's super stretchy cast off or whatever. So what I do is I use a 2.5, a US 2.5 for my toe and my heel. And then after I finish knitting the toe, I switch to the US 2 9-inch circ. I do this because then it gives just that little bit of extra room for the toe and the heel. It's especially helpful for the heel, because I don't know about you, but most people's heels are a little bit thicker than their toes. But that's what I do. I also don't like super snug things on my toes. It's just a personal preference. So I use US 2.5 for my toes and my heels, and I use a US 2.5 for my cuff bind off. Sometimes I'll do the entire ribbing on 2.5. I just think it gives it just a little bit of extra. It just makes it super stretchy. See? Super duper stretchy. Because especially since I made these longer, so they'll go up a little bit higher on my calf, and I have athletic calves. But yeah, to answer some questions, that's what I do. I use a size. I go up just half a size. Well, if there is half a size, like I know there isn't a 3.5. But that's what I do for those socks, and they're both finished. So I'm super excited about that. And it literally only took me like an hour to do both the heels. So I made good time on that. And this is why last week I was talking to you guys about how I like to do my heels to match my toes, because then when I store them, they lay flat like that. Sometimes I'll even, well, I like to put my ribs on the inside. So like, it'll lay nice and flat, just like that. And they'll even stand, you can't see it. Let's see if I can make it show for you. Where'd it go? See, they'll stand in my drawer just like that. If you guys could even tell that. Are we good? Let me adjust it one more time. I think we're good. That's the only finished object I have. I do have a couple of hose, which I think I have them. Oh yeah, here's one of them. I don't know if you guys saw this yarn in the... You saw the yarn. I don't think I showed you the project because they were literally done in like a day. This yarn is the Red Heart, Heart and Soul in Green Envy that you guys had seen in a previous podcast. I got the first sock done. This one's a little bit different. Normally I do 56 stitches. These are 60. Just because I noticed that, you know, they're still, my others are just a tiny bit too snug. It is an afterthought heel construction. And this, I did do these a lot differently than I normally do, because rather than doing a traditional afterthought heel where you do the cut and the snip and you pick all the stitches out and then do it, I actually put in waste yarn just because I'd never done that kind of afterthought heel. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. There's a lot of, I think it leaves a lot of gap, and you've got to really pick up a lot of extra stitches, and which I guess I did pretty okay on picking that part up, because like here would be the gap right here, and there really isn't one, because what I did is between the two stitches, like you've got needle 1 and needle 2, I do magic loop typically, so between needle 1 and needle 2 you've got the gap on each side. So what I did is at the beginning of the round, and I did this for 2 rounds, so at the beginning of the round I picked up and laddered the stitches, and what I did is like I picked up, let's see if I've got something pointy, I have a pen, that'll be okay. So like if you were to just find this ladder between the 2 stitches, you would end up with a hole because you're making that extra space. So what I would do is like I would pick up the leg, drop my pen, I would pick up, let's see if I can get super close. So like you've got the ladder, I would pick up this leg right here, right next to the ladder, and I would use that as the first stitch, and it makes everything tight. And I do that at the beginning of the first needle and the beginning of the second needle. Then I would do it again because it will still have a little bit of a gap. So then I would do it a second time at the beginning of each needle, and it closes everything up. What I do, otherwise you're going to end up with 4 extra stitches on your needle, is with that first laddered stitch, knit it together with the first stitch on the needle, then it makes it invisible, because if you do a knit 2 together, you know, you've done a knit 2 together, so you got the 2 stitches, it puts it behind the stitch, so it makes it almost invisible. You can't tell that it was there. And so I do that twice. I knit 1 plain round, and then I start with the decreases, and I just do a toe. So if you've ever knit a toe, whether it be toe up or toe down, that's what I do. So it gives it that extra bit of space and everything, especially with the first 3 rounds. Then you're not like, it's not like a super cramped heel. But then what I also did differently was I did the hemmed bind off, or hemmed cuff, instead of regular ribbing. And It was okay. I mean, I've done it top down before like that, but I better adjust this again, sorry. I've never done it toe up. Like I know the Nutkin sock pattern, which is free on Ravelry, calls for a hemmed cuff, and that's where I learned it. And it's okay. Like I like that it kind of it forces it to go down. What I would strongly recommend though is what you don't do when you're going top down is you just pick it up like you normally would. If you're going cuff up, do the super stretchy cast off when you're attaching the hem to itself, because it does give it that, because it's not like ribbing, it's not going to stretch. So if you just do a regular, and I did it. I did the regular cast off, and I went to put it on my foot, couldn't get it past my heel. I was so mad. So I had to go back and do the super stretchy cast off in order to get it to stretch. I also did a 2.5 for the entire for this entire section. 2.5 for my heel, or in my toe, my heel, and I did do a 2.5. So that's why if you're looking at it, it looks like it comes out just a little bit, because it is a little bit bigger, because I was afraid it wasn't going to stretch. So it stretches quite nicely for that. I do have another hoe. I have a missing hoe. I don't know where it's at. I'll have to find it at some point. Basically, I had a second sock done. Let me see if I threw it in here. No, I did not. Oh well. Basically, you guys saw the Plymouth yarn that I'd gotten a couple weeks ago in the Vegas lights. It was super bright and shiny. It was in, I have the yarn. It was in this yarn. Well, I knit the same exact sock as this, but in that yarn. So pretend this is in this yarn. Next time you guys will see him, it'll be in a finished object, hopefully. Don't know how much time I'll have for that. And that's it for that. I do have a work in progress. These are pretty much getting all of my attention. You guys saw the trekking XXL that I had gotten from a lady in my knitting group a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago now. Well, I am knitting socks for my grandmother, my mother, and I. So I have to get another skein yarn for the crop that we're going to. And I got the first sock done. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty dark. I wasn't thrilled with the colors. My mother absolutely loves it. So I'm like, alright, they're for you anyway. So if you like it, I don't care. It's not my favorite. I wasn't too impressed with it. It's also very splitty. What really bugged me too is when I always like to pre-cake my yarn to avoid knots and everything like that. Well, the company missed this, because on the outside of the ball, one of the loops of the yarn had gotten caught and attached and wound in to the inside. I always pull from the inside and cake it so that my ball's not everywhere. I hate that. So I can hold it and wind the cake. There was a massive knot because the outside had gotten wound into the inside. So I literally had to go from the outside, hand wind it, and wind at the same time and try to untangle this knot. It was a huge mess. It literally took me an hour and a half. I was not happy. But yeah, one thing I did wrong, I misread the pattern. I'd knit these socks 100 times, but I always did like a short row heel, because once I learned short rows, I prefer to do short rows than gusseted heel. But, I figured since they were going to be for my mom, I might as well do something traditional for her. And so I did what the pattern said, and it's supposed to be a modified Eye of Partridge heel. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. These are the Hermione's Everyday Socks. In the pattern, it says to, for the modified Eye of Partridge heel, it says to, on the first row, knit 3, purl across, because you're on the back side of the heel, on the inside of the work. And then on row 2, you purl 3, gives it that garter ridge. Slip 1, or no, it's knit 1, slip 1 to the last 3 stitches, and then knit them. On the way back, you knit 3 and purl across. But then on the 4th row, you purl 3, slip 1, knit 1. And I had read it somehow in my brain, even though I've knit these 100 times, I read it as knit 1, slip 1. So basically, I have rows 2 and 4 are the same on my sock. So it's basically a modified traditional heel flap. But I mean, it's still pretty dense and everything. It just doesn't look as pretty as what the original pattern is. But my mom doesn't care. She thinks they're gorgeous. But I got that one done. It literally took me just like 24 hours to knit the one sock. And I got this. It's all tangled. Why? This is my life, everybody. Okay, so ignore the... There was a needle attached to that. Okay, we're good. I got the second sock started. Got the ribbing done. For the ribbing, I did the German twisted cast on. It's on YouTube. I liked it. It has the same effect as the Jenny Super Stretchy bind off, but it's from the top down, so it's really stretchy. What I like about it in comparison to the Super Stretchy bind off is, like, look at this edge here. It's not as, it's just very loopy, and if you stretch it out, see, it doesn't exactly hold its shape. You can push it back together and it'll go. But what I like about the German twisted cast on is it doesn't lose its shape. It goes right back to where it's supposed to go. See my cute little stitch marker? Just a little rhinestone one. Will it show? Focus it. Yeah. I was so excited because, I mean, you can see on this sock that the repeats, like, it's got this evergreen, and then it's got some stripes, and then it's got some evergreen again, and then it starts the stripes over. I was really excited because once I hit these stripes, I could see that there was a pattern sequence in the yarn. So I was able to, what I did was I wound the yarn into a little ball and then cut it where the repeat had started over, so that when I cast on the sock, let me tuck that tail inside so it's not distracting. I didn't weave in the end for that one right there. I don't know if you can tell, but they match perfectly. See? Those stripes just meld into each other. That's the first time I've ever managed to do that on a pair of socks, and I was very excited. My mom was excited. She's like, yay. Of course, she said she wouldn't have cared had they not matched. She never does. It's because she's my mom and she loves me. But yeah, it was like achievement unlocked, match socks. Yeah. And those are actually the first pair of socks I'm knitting on size 1s. I typically don't like size 1s. I've tried before and I just don't like, to me it always seemed fiddly, but I'd always used, when I'd done it before, I'd had double points. The needles for double points are just too small and slippy, and I had a hard time with it. That is it for my knitting. I did do some spinning because of my migraines and everything. I couldn't go to spin group on Wednesday. But I did get some spinning done, It's just, I can't detach it right now. So for acquisitions, in the Schnibble Hive group on Ravelry, which is a group for the beekeepers quilt, I had won a prize in one of the contest giveaways, and it came, and I got this cute little project bag. It's lined and everything. It's even got a pocket. See the pocket there? Ooh, pocket. It's got a cute cord, so like you just can close it shut and tie it. It's really cute. I like it. I might actually use it. I've gotten some stitch markers with it as well. Those are somewhere else at the moment. And what I got really excited about was the person who made the package included some mini skeins for hexapus. I don't know what they are, but they think they're really pretty. Like here's this one. Excuse me. Here's this one. I like this one. This one looks like, sherbet ice cream to me. This is like navy blue. Excuse me. And then this one's like a tweedy, Tweed-y, T-W-E-E-D-Y, not Tweedy, it's Tweedy. But yeah, I got that and I was super excited. Also, if you guys followed me on Instagram, a couple of weeks back, like a week before my birthday, I had gone on eBay and ordered some of those Chinese circular needles. They're like Haya or Chaogu knockoffs or whatever. It was a set of 13 needles and it had 99-cent shipping. So for the needles and the shipping together total, I paid $9.53. I don't know about you, but I don't think for one pair of, I think that's what the cost is for one set of Haya and Chaogu. I think it's like maybe a set of knit picks as well. They came and I bagged them all up into these little Ziploc bags. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch some holes. I think what I'm going to do is do it from this end. I'm going to punch some holes along the zippered edge. And I'm going to put some circle rings, like the D-hooks or whatever, that snap and come up, like you can unlock them and everything, so that it puts them all in the same, like, so that they're like a binder almost. I like these. I ordered the 47-inch, and I have one set on my trekking socks. And I adore them. Like, they've been coiled, and they keep their, it's not like a memory. They're not like the plastic ones from Knit Picks. Like, I almost don't like the Knit Picks circulars that I have, because I like to store mine, because I don't have like a wall hanger where I can hang them. So I curl them up and I put them back in their package, and that's how I store them. Well, every time I pull them out of the package, they're kinked. And these ones, as soon as I pulled them out of their package, they'd been in shipping for like 3 weeks. There was no kinkage. And I like that. This is the size 2. And it goes, on the packages it says it's it's 6 to 13 or 6 to 18 or something like that. And that's US. It gets tiny. The biggest size is 8. So there's 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1. I think 1.5. There's 0, and then there's like double 0. So like there's double aught, triple aught. The smallest size is 1 millimeter, and those are tiny. The coolest part about these needles is they all came with their each set of needles in their package. It came with a darning needle, which I put in this little container here. So it came with 13 darning needles, which was nice because I'm always losing them everywhere. And it's not like they're super sharp, so it's not like if I sat on one it would hurt too bad. And they all came. Which side did I shut this on? They all came with their own needle gauge. So like you can see how it goes from 8 to 17. The cool thing about it is like the 8 is actually, it's a US 8. And I think it's cute. They're like little peacocks. And so I have 13 of those. What I'm gonna do with them, I don't know. My mom thought I should like slip one in each of the packages that I send out, which I thought that was kind of a cute idea, so I might do that. I'm sorry that this is rushed. I woke up this morning at like 8:30 with a migraine and went straight back to bed. I was going to talk about the April cow. The cow for April, it's Socktopia, I think is what I called it. For the month of April, cast on date is April 1st. It's going to go until April 30th. All you have to do is knit something with sock yarn. If you cannot knit with sock yarn, I know like some people can't knit with it because it's too thin. It hurts hands, it's bad for arthritis and stuff. If you can't knit with it, just message me and we can work around that. That's fine. For the prize drawing, if you knit with sock yarn, that's one entry into the prize thread. If you knit socks, that's another entry. So like say you knit a pair of socks out of sock yarn, that's 2 entries total. And because it's the month of Easter, in respect for people's religious beliefs, I'm not doing an Easter cow. So if you choose to knit with Easter theme, like something Easter themed, like say you knit a pair of socks out of sock yarn that happens to be Easterish colors, you know, like the pastels and things like that, things that scream Easter or spring, that's another entry. So for a pair of socks knit out of sock yarn that happens to be Easter colors, that's 3 entries. You do not have to put all 3 of your entries in the same. Like if you want to put 1 entry and wait like 5 or 6 entries, then throw another one, wait another couple and throw another one, fine by me. Breaks up the monotony. And if you have any questions about it, just shoot me a PM, or I've had one person ask me on Ravelry, Instagram already if the colors, were okay, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I wanted to say flexible and laid back, and it wanted to come back as flayed back. I'm flayed. Yeah. You can tell where I'm at today. So yeah, if you have any questions on that, let me know. I'll work with you. I'm cool like that. The last bit of information I think I have, the giveaway that I put in last week's podcast is still going. The drawing for that is going to be the first week of April. So like I'm cutting it close by recording on a Sunday. So this weekend when I put up the new podcast, I'm going to do the live drawing. Well, recorded because it's not exactly live. I could do live, that'd be cool. But yeah, there's a thread in the group. The prompt is what spinning wheel would you get if you spun yarn, or what is your favorite spinning wheel? Or if you don't spin on a wheel, what's your favorite spindle? Or if you don't spin, what would you like, would you like to, that kind of thing. One post per entry. 1 post per entry per person. So yeah, and I don't have the mini skeins nearby to show you guys, but the prize is there's 5 mini skeins, each are 25 yards, so it's like 125 yards total. It's about a half a sock right there, and it's 4 of them are knit pick stroll hand painted, so it's in the crystal leg warmer, watermelon, and make believe colorways, and the last one is it's by Broken Pattern Yarn, and it's an 80-10-10 NCN merino cashmere nylon, and it's in the berries colorway. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. I don't really have a whole lot else. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later this week.